Hey guys, glad you're back. So I've gotten a lot of questions about what I actually carry in my get home bag. So I thought I'd go ahead and just tear this thing open and show you each and every item that I carry in my get home bag. That way you can decide for yourself what you might want to carry in yours, what you might want to switch out for a different item, a different brand, something other than the bare minimums that I recommend in the class. Because the thing is, the minimums I recommend because I want everybody to have a get home bag put together and ready to use whenever you need it. The thing is though, once you have it put together, you can start to personalize it even more. That's what I've done over the years, and I'll still change this thing around a lot. And the trick though, if you change it, I recommend that you at least stay with a similar bag, because once you start moving things to different pockets, you're going to forget where things are, and you're not going to be able to retrieve it in an emergency. So let's go ahead and go through this bag here for you. So like I said, my bag, which you've seen in some of the other videos, it's a little bigger, definitely thicker and bulkier than a regular school backpack, which is what I recommend. It also is black, which, though not purely tactical, certainly doesn't scream, hey, this guy doesn't have something I want. It looks like a bag that's going to contain things people want. But I'm also a big burly guy, and I'm seldom going to be going around anywhere, especially in an emergency, not armed. And so I've got a little bit of advantage over other people because I'm likely going to be there for work. So one of the neat things that this bag has in it is a fully integrated level 3 body armor. So when I'm wearing the bag, it's pretty neat because I actually just reach back, pull these two tabs, pull the vest over my head, and then I have level 3 protection on the front and the back of my body while I'm carrying this bag. Easily deployable in an emergency, also easy to use or stow away. And so it does make my bag a little bit heavier, a little bit bulkier than most. All right, so let's look in this side pocket right here. In the side pocket, in the lesson on tools, I mentioned a multi-tool, and this is one that I showed you a picture of I've had for decades. One of the main reasons I like the Gerber multi-tool, and it's my favorite. I tried the Leatherman, nothing against Leatherman, other than the fact of maybe the area where they're made. But this one is my favorite because open it with, and that didn't go as smooth as it should have. So you hear that nice click. One-handed opening. You don't have to sit there and fold it open with two hands. I can pull it out of my pocket, which is one of the reasons I keep it in the side pocket of the bag. Reach back, pull it out, open it with one hand while I'm doing something else. Also, another reason I like this one is it has both a regular knife and a knife with a serrated blade. Get this thing out of here. I've got some Velcro fastened on this thing where it was fastened to a tack vest. And there we go, the serrated blade. So one of the reasons I like it, it's got all the other tools I need: screwdrivers, can openers, files. That is the Gerber multi-tool. Remember that word, tool, because we carry tools, not weapons. Big distinction that you'll need to make if something ever happens. All right, the matching side pocket on the other side. The flashlight. Here's an area where I have personalized a little more than what I recommend as a minimum. This is a Surefire flashlight. I carry this one because it's much brighter than a mag light. The downside though, there are no red filters. I do have a headlamp with a red filter to satisfy that part of it, but this one shines brighter. It's a much softer body, and it doesn't damage as quickly as the mag light. Now the downside is that it uses different batteries. It does not work off AA or AAA like I suggested for the rest of you. But the thing is, I can actually use this thing a lot longer, and it'll suffer a lot more punishment than a mag light will. I do recommend the mag light though for your bare minimums, and also beginning, because they're cheap. If you break them or smash them or dent them, easy to buy another one. Here are the mini Sharpie. Recommended in the class for 8 things you already have around the house. Big Sharpies are just fine. I use the mini just to save a little bit of weight, and a very cheap ink pen that will likely run out of ink or dry out at some point. But here's the thing. I recommend you have some type of an ink stick in your bag. Also in my everyday carry and in my car as well. There's probably 3 or 4 ink pens in my car. I've got more. And in my everyday carry though, I've got a little notepad that I use for evidence collection, notes, things like that, and my Fisher Space Pen. is in that one. So that's the upgrade for the ink pens. This one's just a cheapo and basically just a backup. It's light enough though that I can justify carrying something extra. Now, a little bit of a quiz while we're doing this video. In terms of redundancy, do you remember what I said about redundancy? Let's see, say it with me. All right, you ready? A little chant we're gonna have. 3 is, good, 2 is, and 1 is, yeah, exactly. I'm glad you guys remembered that. That's pretty awesome. It shows I'm teaching you something well. All right, front pocket. What I've got here, we got some paperwork. Now, I haven't listed paperwork in the minimums for you guys. This is actually a memorandum of agreement between me and the South Carolina Emergency Management Division. If you need papers to certify who you are and where you're going or what your specific job is to enter disaster areas, things like that, I recommend you keep this in your get home bag. You could be called out at any moment depending on what your job is, and it's a good thing to have copies of this in bags spread out all over the place. Your luggage, your get home bag, your bug out bag, because it makes you look more official. If you are on official business, it'll let you back in. For instance, this lets me back into disaster areas in the state of South Carolina before all the people that live there, business owners, people like that, are allowed back in. Because it's my job to go back in and make sure it's safe, help set up field hospitals, take care of looters, things like that. And let's see what else is in here. Now, in the very important lesson on tools, and then a subsequent lesson on weapons, I hope you do remember the very, very important adage, I've already mentioned it once, that a knife is not a weapon, it's a... Good, I'm glad you remember that too. All right, so I recommended a knife that is no longer actually made. If you can find an old one, it's an excellent knife. I don't carry a pocket knife in my bag. I carry a fixed blade Bear Grylls knife made by Gerber. It's about 4 inches long. It's got a serrated section and a straight section. It's got a metal butt cap you can use to bang on things with. It's an excellent knife. It's lasted me for a very long time. I have several actually. Whenever I see one of these pop up on eBay, used or the rare one that pops up new, I snatch it up. My other one is part of my everyday carry. This one is my backup that stays in my bag, just in case I need a second tool. Good. All right, there's a big pocket right behind the very front one. This bag is jam-packed full of pockets. So what do we have here? Now this is something that it's nice to have, but you don't have to have. It's a good upgrade. So let me get this out of here. It's kind of tight in this bag. There we go. I actually carry a solar panel in my backpack. And so I can hook it up to my phone to recharge my phone or other devices. And so I carry a solar panel. I keep it in a padded bag so that it stays a little more durable. But it's made to where I can actually fasten it onto the front of my bag. And that way, when I'm on a long walk, something like that, fasten it up there where the sunlight can hit it, and I can recharge my phone or other devices. Very cool, very nice thing to have, but not something you have to have. Now, let's look through some of the other pockets and see what we have in the bag here. So, inside my Ziploc bags, cash. I always recommend you carry a little bit of cash. Depending on the situation, let's say there's a massive power outage, you're not going to be able to use credit cards for anything. If the power's out, the credit card readers are out. If the Wi-Fi's out, a portable credit card reader is out. Guess what? In most situations, depending on whether it's weather-related or man-caused, if the power goes out for any reason, you are going to need cash to buy anything, whether it's gasoline for your car that ran out, nice bottle of cold water, because it's still going to be cold for a while even if the power went out, and you're going to want some cash. So I carry just a smattering of cash in there. It's under $100, but remember, this is your get home bag. You may carry more in your bug out bag, but you don't need a whole lot in this bag. Now, here's one of the things I recommended that some people, including me, carry in our bag that is an upgrade from the minimum. I recommended you carry a snack, like a Cliff Bar or something like that. I carry snacks in my everyday carry. I have a bag that I carry for that goes everywhere with me. But in my get home bag, I carry a Mountain House meal. Now, this one is one of my favorites. It is the breakfast skillet, hash browns and scrambled eggs. mixed with pork sausage, peppers, and onions. This is a really good one, really good. Now, Mountain House is like the go-to brand for freeze-dried foods. They're not the best tasting out there. There are some gourmet ones out there that will set you back a few dollars, but these are inexpensive, taste great. All you have to do is add water. Now, hot water works best, but all you have to do is add water to this, roll it back up, put it in your pack, let it sit for a while, and you're gonna have a nice meal in no time at all. In another Ziploc bag here, I have maps. Now, it's no surprise where I live, maybe not my street address, but at least the area where I live, and so I carry maps for that area. I also tend to travel a little bit, especially even with the kids for day trips. We go hiking a lot, and we are known to venture out into the southeastern states, North Carolina and South Carolina, and sometimes Greenville, South Carolina. And so all three of these maps cover the area where I live, and I'll let you guess where that might be. But if you'll notice, two of these maps are from AAA. I mentioned in the lesson that if you're a member of AAA, I am because I travel a lot. I use them at least 3 or 4 times a year to tow my car. Never my fault, well, sometimes. But if you're a member of AAA, one of the great perks is that you can get maps anytime. Now, these are the maps that I carry in my bag, and everyone else in my family also has maps for their bag. But anytime I travel out of the area, I also either visit the local AAA office, if there's one near you. We have one here in Greenville, or 40 minutes away in Greenville. But giving you a little more clues. But if you visit the office, they'll give you maps. If you get on the website, you can order maps for certain areas. Like, for instance, if I'm flying out west, we took a trip to Seattle a while back, several years ago at this point, before Seattle burned down in 2020. But we took a trip out there, and I had gotten maps for Seattle, and we actually rented a car and drove around a bunch. So we had maps for the entire Pacific Northwest because we weren't sure where we were going to go. So we just got free maps for everywhere. And so it's pretty neat. And so I've got a nice little collection of maps around the house just in case I go to other places. So let's see what's in the next compartment there. All right, a few more things. Pull all this out, and I'll go over it for you. All right. I've got 2 D-rings. Now, this is an extra add-on. Truthfully, you could never have too many D-rings. I actually use these 2 to fasten the solar panel onto the front of my bag. I have here an emergency poncho. Now, I showed you how to make a poncho out of a trash bag. It works, but it's not my favorite method. I prefer to carry one of these, $1 at the Dollar Tree, but it's much bigger than the trash bag, especially for a burly boy like me, and it works a little better. It's thinner than a trash bag. I mean, you can almost see through this thing, but it's cheap. And to be honest with you, if there's any chance of rain, I'm gonna have my nice raincoat in my everyday carry for that day. But if I happen to get caught out in something, or just need something extra, maybe to cover up my bag, if my raincoat doesn't cover it, this works great. All right, duct tape. I recommend one of the things you can do for duct tape is to wrap it around your ink pen. Works great. It will mess up your ink pen though. It's a method that works, not my favorite. I use Ready Tape. You can buy this from Amazon or Walmart or just about anywhere, but it's 5 yards, 1.88 inches wide. And I've never actually had to open this one. I've used duct tape. See, here's a great thing. When I've needed duct tape, when I was using my get home bag, I used someone else's duct tape, or I took a piece off the roll that was in my vehicle everyday carry. Don't ever use the things in your get home bag if you don't have to. If someone else has that item and they're willing to share, use theirs. Don't use yours. If you have a bigger supply somewhere else, don't use what's in your get home bag, because if you do, you have to replenish it immediately because you never know when you're going to need this bag. So that's my Ready Tape. This is just a small light that came with my solar panel. It plugs into the solar panel. And so as the solar panel is charging on the backpack, I can actually hook this light up and use it as a reading light or anything else I want to use it for. It does not have a red filter, so definitely not for tactical situations, but it works great as a light. And then here's something extra I carry in my get home bag that I didn't even mention in the class, but depending on your background, you might want to carry this as well. I carry a full Bible, a very small one, tiny print. Some of you older folks aren't going to be able to read it without glasses, but it's a very, very tiny Bible that I carry in my bug out bag. This is It's like it's smaller than a New Testament even. It's just a collection of scripture verses. A very small print. It's got a lot of stuff in there, a lot of verses about leading people to Christ, but it's called The Treasure Path to Soul Winning, actually. And someone gave this to me years and years ago, actually written in 1969. But it served me well, and I carry it in here just so I can have some scripture with me and not the weight of a full Bible. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you've probably got a Bible on your phone. Well, the thing is, depending on the emergency, you may not be able to access that Bible on your phone. And personally, if I can carry this as a lightweight item, I would rather save the battery on my phone and just read this. And then because I travel international sometimes, I have here an international translator. I bought these when I started traveling overseas for mountain climbing adventures. They're from Quick Point. It's a Quick Point wallet card. And basically, it shows pictures of everything you can need. Everything from, on the back, there's business needs. Everything from Sharpies to hotels, like a bed, air conditioning, a mechanic. There's even some things on here for emergency needs, personal needs, like, well, I mean, there's even a picture of feminine hygiene products on here. So, I mean, you can understand in any language, there are basic pictures that can get the point across that you can use to get what you need, to get the help you need. And because most of my background is in medicine, this one here is a medical visual language translator, and it has a lot more information on it. I can actually use this thing to diagnose and treat patients. And the neat thing is, even here in South Carolina, I have used this with patients before who did not speak English, and I did not speak their language. There were actually a few cases where I did not even know what language they spoke, but I was able to treat them using my visual translator. It worked pretty great. All right, so let's zip that up, zip up the other compartments that we've been through already, and open up the big one. Now, here's a great thing about my backpack is that when you open it all the way up, you undo the straps on the sides, it actually folds out flat, just like the medic bags I had in the military. Works really great for that. And so in this one compartment here, it has smaller Velcro bags that just Velcro right in. So we're going to open this one up and let's see what's in this one. So in here, I've got a cheap ladder. This is one item where I recommend a bare minimum for you, and it's the thing I carry. It's just a cheap ladder. If I need to start a fire, that's what it's for. Right there, quick and easy, ready to use. I got 3 AAA batteries. I have, now this one's brand new, so it's not rusty or anything. I want to show this to you. Real quick, tell me what it is before I give you the answer, okay? I'm going to show this to you, and you tell me. What's this? It was in one of the lessons. Very important. Good, good. I heard one of you say it's a P38 military can opener. Very good. I'm glad you remember that. And also another thing I carry in here is just a tiny little compass. Not incredibly accurate, but if I need to know the general direction of the area in which I want to go, it'll work. It's not good for trying to align with a map or anything like that, but for basic navigation, it will work. Here I've got some, part of my IFAC is in these 2 bags, or actually it's in the red one. We'll finish this one first. There's my headlamp. This one is actually a relatively cheap one from Tac Lamp. Battery pack on the back, all the lights on the front. My water device. So this, I carry this one in here as my backup because it's really small and it folds out. And it is, there we go. It's just a cheap little rubber water device. Now it'll carry some water, about 16 ounces. But the thing is, part of my everyday carry is always my 32-ounce Nalgene. This one is basically a backup, and I carry it in here just as a secondary source. If it's hot out and I'm having trouble finding water, or I'm in an area where there isn't much water, I'm going to fill this up just to carry it as a backup. And guess what? To fill that up, my Sawyer water filter. Now, most of the Sawyers you buy will not come with their own nifty little Sawyer bag, and so all my Sawyer water kit is in a Ziploc bag, in this larger bag right here. So let's zip that one up. And the next thing we're going to tackle is my IFAC. My IFAC. Now, you remember the video that I filmed for you, and I tried to make it kind of funny so you would definitely remember it. But do you remember the IFAC is only for who? That's right. It's only for you. Don't let anybody else use it. Now, I carry a little extra stuff just because of my skill level and my training, and I'll use this on my family in a heartbeat. But here's the catch. It's mainly just for you because the thing is, if I get hurt, I want my family, my wife, one of my kids who's trained as well, to grab my IFAK to use on me. Chances are if one of them gets hurt, if their IFAK, if I know where it's at, it's fully stocked, I'm going to grab theirs to use on them. That's the way it's supposed to work. It's not mean, it's not going to hurt them, not going to kill them. You still treat someone, but you preserve the function of the get home bag so that it works for whoever it's supposed to be for. So I got 4x4s. I've got some rubber gloves or latex gloves in here, a set of EMT shears, got a respirator mask. This is something extra that I carry that I love these things. I have used them many times for everything from splints to neck braces to all kinds of other neat stuff. It's a SAM splint. It is a malleable aluminum splint. In other words, I can unroll this and shape it into anything from a Christmas tree to a leg splint to an arm splint to a neck collar. They're pretty amazing. If you have any medical training and you do want to carry one of these, they're not too expensive, but they are quite amazing and very lightweight. And then in here is a bag with all the rest of the goodies that go in my IFAK, all the small goodies that allow me to go away. I've got some antibiotic cream. I've got tape, ace bandage, more 4x4s. I've got a cravat in here, which is a triangular bandage, great for making a sling. Or if I'm getting awful sweaty, it makes a great sweat rag. Band-aids, towelettes. Here we go. I've got a trauma wound dressing, a 6-inch hemorrhage control bandage with a second mobile pad. In other words, if you have a large hole in your body, this is what you need. This is what you want to fix the large hole. I've got a small gunshot kit. Now, this is actually a homemade gunshot kit that a friend of mine made for me. There's a few goodies in here that might not be available on the open market without a prescription or a license, and he makes these for us and seals them in Mylar bags, and that's for gunshots specifically. And then here I've got my cat tourniquet, which is a great device. If you're comfortable using it and they're not too expensive, I recommend the cat tourniquet from North American. Excellent to use, real quick to apply, and really easy as well. And then I've got a first aid quick clot. This one is from Celox. This is actually some quick clot material, and so what it does is it actually helps seal that big wound in your chest or elsewhere before I put this sucker on you. Or me. Let's hope it's neither. And one great thing about my IFAK, it actually has its own little strap right here. So if I ever need to deploy my IFAK and use it and like lay the other bag down or just keep my get home bag on and carry the IFAK around in the front, something like that. Let's say there's a mass casualty event, which I've had to use it for that before anyway. It works great. I'll just sling that thing on, carry everything else on the back, and I've got all my first aid gear right in front of me. Or I can just use the Velcro and attach it to a tactical vest, which makes it even easier. It just all depends on the situation. So that's most of my bag. There's another hole in the back where I could add a Camelback or a water bladder, water reservoir, whatever you like to call them. Camelback's just the biggest brand. But there's a hole back there where I could add one of those and loop the straw through the straps and use that. I personally don't like that system, mainly because I hate washing those things out. I'd rather just wash out a regular water bottle and throw it in the dishwasher. And so that's my bag. If you have any questions after seeing this video, feel free to ask. If anything's not clear or you wonder, well, Dave, you didn't mention this or that, ask me. Chances are it might be part of my everyday carry, or it's something I use different from what I actually recommend for the minimums. You got to remember, like I said, once you get your bag built and you get used to it, you can go beyond the minimums. You can customize this thing however you want and go crazy with it, because I want you to get your bag put together first of all, but then I want you to have fun with it. And after that, though, it's a get-home bag for emergencies. So to be honest with you, after you have a little bit of fun with it and get used to it, I want you to be able to put this thing somewhere in your car or wherever and just completely forget about it. Because my prayer is that you never have to use it. If you have to use it, it's because something bad happened, and I hope that never happens to you. And I just now realized I'm so used to it, I didn't even notice. If you've heard the constant dog barking on the other side of the screen, We live on a farm. We've got a dog outside. I don't know what he's barking at. Probably a squirrel. I should have told him I was filming a video so he'd be quiet, or at least gave him some food so he'd quit chasing the squirrels. But I do apologize if you could hear the constant dog barking. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy the rest of the class. I'm looking forward to digging into the bug out bag itself. The get home bag's cool, but the bug out bag has some other really neat toys in it that I like playing with. All right, this is Dr. Dave signing out. Y'all take care.